In 1989, it was announced that Disney was in talks with the Jim Henson Company to acquire the Muppets. As part of this acquisition, several Muppet-based attractions and experiences were planned for the Disney parks. MGM Studios New York Street was to receive an expansion called Muppet Studios, home to a new 3D show, a rat-themed pizzeria, and the Great Muppet Movie Ride, taking guests behind the scenes of a Muppet-made movie. However, the untimely death of Jim Henson in May 1990 led to talks between Henson's family and Disney falling apart, and the majority of the Muppets-based Disney projects being cancelled. MGM Studios still opened Here Come the Muppets in the old Backlot Tour Theatre in 1990, and it ran until 1991. As Muppet Vision 3D had been recorded before Jim Henson's death, the Henson family did decide to allow Muppet Vision to open in MGM Studios on May 16, 1991, a year to the day since Jim Henson had passed away. Initially, Muppet Vision was only supposed to be open for 18 months, but following its success, the contract continually got extended. However, when Muppet Vision was being created, it was actually being developed for both MGM Studios and Disneyland. This is the Distory of the cancelled Muppet Takeover of Disneyland. In 1990, Disneyland was celebrating its 35th anniversary. As part of an anniversary TV special, a new Muppet-themed show was amongst the list of upcoming projects announced for the park, most of which wouldn't come to fruition. The show was actually going to be part of a larger Muppet presence at Disneyland in 1991, known as Muppetland. To market Disney's newest acquisition, the Muppets was planned to take over Disneyland that year, so Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse could go on vacation after being busy hosting the 35th anniversary the year before. Kermit the Frog and the rest of the Muppets had volunteered to look after Disneyland whilst Mickey was gone, bringing with them their natural Muppety chaos. Decorations throughout the park was to be themed to the Muppets, including the usual Mickey Mouse floral arrangement at the train station being replaced with a Kermit the Frog in flowers, and all 147 feet of the Matterhorn bobsleds being painted bright green. The Matterhorn was not the only attraction to receive a Muppet overlay. In It's a Small World, the Winking Cleopatra doll was to be replaced by a Winking Miss Piggy figure, whilst Animal was going to be found in Pirates of the Caribbean, replacing the pirate chasing the woman in the burning town scene. All of these Muppet additions were to be temporary, but there were a few permanent additions planned. 2 Muppet-themed parades, including the Muppet Motorcade, where the Muppets would appear in cars themed to different Muppet characters, and the parade version of Here Come the Muppets, featuring large inflatable Muppet models in the same vein as the Macy's Thanksgiving Parade, were planned. The most controversial decision was to permanently replace Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln at the Main Street Opera House with a clone of Muppet Vision 3D. Evidence of this can still be found in the 3D movie, as the guests outside the theatre in the finale scene are not supposed to be in the MGM Studios Muppet Courtyard, but actually in Disneyland. Of course, Disneyland fans were horrified at the thought of Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln leaving the park, and even after Muppetland was cancelled, they were still worried that the plans to add Muppet Vision to Main Street could happen. After all, Muppet Vision was still added to MGM Studios when the Henson talks went sour. Similar to Muppet Studios at MGM Studios, the 1991 Muppetland takeover of Disneyland was cancelled after Jim Henson's death in 1990, and Disney failed to acquire the theme park rights to the Muppets. Muppet Vision did end up coming to the Disneyland Resort 10 years later in 2001, when Disney California Adventure opened, and would run in the backlot section of the park until 2014. Muppetland would have been an extremely controversial marketing takeover of Disneyland, removing Mickey Mouse for a whole year so Kermit the Frog could move in. The hidden Muppet characters in Disney attractions did sound fun, but the removal of Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln might have overshadowed any good ideas from Muppetland. Was the cancellation of a Muppetland takeover actually a blessing in disguise? Or do you wish it would have actually happened? I want to know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment down below on what you want to see next on the Distory channel.